Let's talk about a really powerful idea. What if a life, one that seems completely set in stone, could be totally transformed by something as simple as writing a letter? Well, that's the incredible question right at the very heart of Virginia Evans' amazing novel, The Correspondent. It's a story that unfolds one piece of mail at a time. And wow, this quote from the brilliant author Anne Patchett it nails it, doesn't it? She calls it a portrait of a small life expanding. This isn't just another story about getting older. No, it's this deep, thoughtful look at how a life can genuinely grow and change, even at a point when it feels like all the possibilities have vanished. It's a beautiful reminder that profound change is always possible. So here's what makes this book so unique. It's what you call an epistolary novel. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying the entire story is told through documents, and in this case, it's mostly letters. And this format is absolutely perfect for this story because it's not just about getting close to the characters, it's really about control. Think about it. A letter lets you craft the perfect version of yourself. You can say exactly what you want to say and nothing more. It's the ideal medium for a character who is hiding just as much as she's revealing. Okay, so let's meet her. Let's meet our correspondent. Her name is Sybil Van Antwerp. She's 73 years old, and she's a woman whose entire world is built around the careful, unwavering ritual of writing and receiving letters. For Sybil, this is so much more than just a hobby. You have to picture it every single morning. She sits down with her Irish breakfast tea, her perfectly pristine stationery, her favorite pens. This whole ritual, it's her lifeline. It's how she makes sense of the world, how she keeps these relationships going across continents and decades. It's the very foundation of her meticulously ordered life. And Sybil, wow, what a character. It's no wonder critics have just fallen in love with her. As the author Margot Livesey says, she's both eloquent and stubborn. And that's the perfect description. She's sharp, she's incredibly intelligent, but she's also prickly and so deeply complex. She's a woman who holds her secrets tight and her pain even tighter. You just can't help but get drawn into her world. But here's the thing. The life that Sybil shows the world in those carefully crafted letters, well, that's only half the story. The other half, the secret, much more painful half, is where we find the real emotional core of this novel. The letters she actually puts in the mail, they are absolute masterpieces of control. She comes across as witty, insightful, sometimes a little sharp-tongued. Through these letters, she's curating her own image, right? She's presenting this version of herself that is completely ordered, intelligent, and totally put together. It is a carefully constructed facade, the face she wants the world to see. But this is where the story really gets deep. What about the letters that never see a stamp? The words that are written not for anyone else, but just for herself. And this is what we find out. Hidden away, Sybil has these fragments, these haunting, unsent letters addressed to her son, Gilbert, who died many years ago. And in these raw, unfinished notes, she finally lets her guard down. They reveal this profound, all-encompassing grief that has secretly shaped the entire course of her adult life. It's a grief that has poisoned relationships and has been the invisible hand guiding every major decision she's ever made. So you have this very carefully controlled world, right? Built on the letters she sends and the ones she doesn't. And that entire world is about to be completely shattered. Because for Sybil, the past isn't just a memory. It's about to show up in her mailbox and demand our reckoning. All of a sudden, a letter shows up from a young man she's never met named Desi Martinelli. And this letter, it's a bombshell. It forces Sybil to confront a professional decision she made decades before, a decision that resulted in a brutally harsh prison sentence for Desi's father. And here's the crucial part. She made this call at the absolute lowest point of her own life, right when her grief over losing her son, Gilbert, had made her cold, cruel, and completely unforgiving. This new correspondence with Desi just ignites the central conflict of the entire novel. It really boils down to two opposing forces. On one side, you have Sybil's lifelong rigid adherence to the law, a system of rules she's used like a shield her whole life. And on the other side, you have this desperate human need for compassion and mercy. The book does this brilliant job of examining the real human cost of being unforgiving, not just to other people, but maybe most importantly to ourselves. And being forced to face this past, it triggers this incredible and honestly incredibly painful transformation in Sybil. Just like author Florence Knapp says here, as a reader, you witness this brilliant woman come to understand herself more deeply and risk lowering her defenses. It's this challenge from a total stranger that finally forces her to look inward in a way she probably hasn't done in decades. And of course, an earthquake like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. This confrontation with her past has this powerful ripple effect, pushing Sybil to finally deal with the deep cracks inside her own family, especially with the one person she should be closest to in the world. Because that external reckoning with a stranger is perfectly mirrored by the deeply strained, almost estranged relationship she has with her living daughter, Fiona. For years and years, the unspoken grief and the unexpressed guilt over Gilbert's death has basically been a brick wall between them, creating this chasm that has just seemed impossible to cross. So the path toward healing starts with that strained relationship, which has been defined by years of silence. But as Sybil is forced to reckon with her past actions concerning the Martinelli family, she also has to start confronting her own role in her family's pain. And this new, frankly terrifying honesty slowly starts to open a door. It creates a possible path toward understanding and maybe, just maybe, reconciliation with Fiona. So as we start to pull all of these different threads together, we get to the novel's really powerful and, in the end, very uplifting message. It's all about the simple yet transformative power of putting pen to paper. What the correspondent really shows us is that the written word can be this incredibly powerful tool. It can forge human connection, even across huge distances. It can force us to reckon with our past, it can help us begin to heal the most profound grief, and maybe most inspiringly, it shows us that a letter can offer a real chance for change and completely redefine a life, even in its twilight years. I think Charmaine Wilkerson, who wrote the amazing novel Black Cake, just says it perfectly here. This is a novel that is meant to be savored, just like a real handwritten letter. It's a book that asks you to slow down, to really read between the lines, and to appreciate the weight and the beauty of every single word. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? In our world of instant texts, DMs that disappear, and fleeting messages, Sybil's story asks us a very important question. What unique power might we be able to reclaim if we took part in the slow, deliberate, and permanent act of actually writing a letter?